All right, so today we're going to talk about a subject that's affecting every single human being and should be taught in every school all over the world. You should learn this when you're like 10 years old. We are talking about compulsions. If you don't know what a compulsion is, it's any behavior that you're doing inside of your head or outside of your head to control a feeling, to check on a feeling, to check on a thought, to fix a feeling, fix a thought. And this behavior is not just some regular behavior. Over time, it's going to hurt your mental health. We all have mental health. If you watch this video, you do have mental health. And it's not hip, it's not gangster. It's not talked about in a way that it's worth it to talk about. Because if you improve your mental health, you will have far more success in life because you don't spend all this time on compulsions and patterns, and you don't even know that you spend all this time on patterns and compulsions, because in society, doing compulsions is normalized. You have to understand that in society doing compulsions is normalized, and you cutting out compulsions is not only improving your mental health, it puts you ahead in so many subjects like relationships, business, physical fitness, mental fitness, everything. Your relationships will get, like your relationship, your health of any romantic relationship, family relationship, friend relationship, relationship with yourself is based on this behavior if you're doing compulsions, all right? So we're gonna go into it today. If you have OCD, ADHD, BPD, depression, the majority of mental health problems are based on compulsions. And mental health professionals like to put labels around these things that kind of seem to separate, but if you look at the symptoms, they're all compulsions. They're all compulsions. They're all behaviors that people are doing around emotions and thoughts. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about compulsions first and give you examples to make it a little bit easier. Then we look at our friend, the brain. This is you, and this is kind of people in your life, all right? So there's two ways you can do compulsions. Two ways. You can do compulsions inside of your head, and you can do compulsions with behavior here outside of your head. That's over here, all right? You can do behaviors inside of your head and outside of your head. Let me give you an example of behaviors inside of your head. Let's say you wake up in the morning and a thought comes in your head, oh, what if my boyfriend is cheating, all right? And then you're trying to remember, oh, last time, did he really say, I love you to me? You're doing behavior inside of your head. You're trying to get reassurance. Is he still doing the things that he did in the past? And you keep being inside of your head, trying to get reassurance. That would be inside of your head, reassurance compulsion right here. Where inside of your head, you're trying to figure out if your boyfriend or girlfriend is still loving you or cheating on you. And you're waking up and you're ruminating inside of your head. Rumination is a big compulsion. Let me put this somewhere. Rumination. Rumination. All right? That's an inside of your head compulsion. And outside of your head compulsion is, for example, let's say jealousy comes up in your body, again, like a relationship example. And you go outside of your head with behavior, you go on your phone and you check Instagram story or Snapchat of your boyfriend to make sure they're doing appropriate things. This is a compulsion because the emotion of jealousy came up in your body and you try to get relief from it. You try to do a fixing compulsion over here by going on the phone and trying to get reassurance. You can also call this a reassurance compulsion. It doesn't matter what you call it. To be honest, a lot of these are connected, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But you will see that, oh, okay, am I doing behaviors around this to control something? That will give you kind of an idea if you're doing compulsion. And if you're doing these compulsions, I promise you, over time, you're gonna build toxic relationships with yourself and others. You're gonna hurt your mental health because you're spending so much time inside of your head, because you're signaling to the brain that you love rumination, so the brain already gives you crazy rumination when you wake up. All right? So behavior outside of your head. Just to help you guys a bit, I'm gonna give you some more examples, okay? We're gonna go through them one by one. Checking compulsion, really famous. Checking compulsion is, let's say you have a fear of that you're being contaminated, which can also be a contamination compulsion, and you're checking online if you have these physical symptoms. Like you're checking on ChatGPT, or you can check memories. Oh, did they really do that? Were they a nice person? You can check after you go to a party, right? This is a big thing too. When you go to a party, after the party is over, some people check, oh, did I embarrass myself? That's a checking compulsion inside of your head. Did I embarrass myself? A checking compulsion outside of your head would be, for example, going on Reddit and trying to get reassurance. You have to understand that just because you don't go on Reddit doesn't mean you're doing a compulsion, okay? So it's based on if you're trying to get reassurance or trying to control a feeling or fix a thought, fix something, and we're gonna go over them more. But checking compulsion here, what I wrote down is, for example, checking on social media. If certain things, like you could check on X, right? You always want to make sure the political state is in a certain place, or you could check all kinds of things, like just to get reassurance, just to get safety and control. You want to be always up to date with the news, or just to get safety and control, you always want to check what kind of diseases are out there, etc. Yeah, all kinds of checking compulsions. Oh, another checking compulsion that will actually, this is something that Mark Freeman taught me. Checking compulsions, when you, for example, recheck, when you're at the gym and you recheck the locker number, or you recheck if your car's closed, you actually teach your brain that you cannot trust yourself. And the more your brain makes you doubt, did I close the car? And then you close the car 200 times. Or did I put the right code in? And then you do that over and over, check if it's the right code. Or this is something also Mark Freeman taught me, when you do the text, when you get the text notification on like an Apple ID, you have to verify something, and you see the number once, but if you keep checking it, oh, do I have the right number, checking it, you actually train your brain to forget things. You're actually kind of hurting your memory a bit. So if you can trust yourself to have it first time and go, you're actually creating also a better memory and more trust in yourself. So that would be a checking compulsion. You can do checking compulsions with other people, which would be a lot of times a reassurance compulsion, to check if your partner still loves you. And a lot of times you can do that in a very manipulative way to make sure that your partner doesn't know that you're insecure. So you ask the questions in a certain way. Some of you do these things with therapists. And a trained therapist knows when it's a reassurance compulsion, and they're supposed to call you out, or they're supposed to call out that's a reassurance compulsion, so you can get better, because reassurance compulsions create the opposite that we want to create, which is less self-trust. So a lot of therapists do this very wrong. They give you reassurance. They might come fresh out of university, or they're just not good therapists. They're not experienced enough. They just regurgitate information in university. You don't learn these kind of things really in university. You learn a lot of standard things that people think are helpful, but you can really only know what helps if you actually do the practice of mental fitness and emotional fitness yourself. So that's like playing a skill, like doing a skill. Just because people who never played the game or changed things in the game wrote something about the skill, like ice hockey or ice skating, doesn't mean they actually know how to be a good ice skater or weightlifter, etc. You actually have to work in the material. You have to be in it and practice it, so you know what information is efficient. And I only want to always give you guys the information that's useful. I could give you things, like people give things that sound good, but I want to give you what's useful. So next one is reassurance compulsion, right? You can get reassurance from other people, like I said. ChatGPT is a big thing today. Do I have this illness? Do I have this thing? Do I have this thing? Right? And then your brain's like, oh yeah, do we have this? Do we have this? Just know that every time you do a compulsion, your brain's like, Oh, you love doing this behavior? Let me give you more, 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 more. And it's overwhelming you, and you create rumination, and then of course the mental health goes down the drain, if that makes sense, right? So do you still love me compulsion? Do you still love me? Etc. Or checking TikTok trends of the big sister accounts when they're like, this is the red flags, like looking for red flags on a date can be a controlling compulsion, and it actually creates it can create more problems. Rather than that, and maybe I'll do a future video about it, it's better to live like value-based, so you see if you have similar values, but that should also not be a checking compulsion. Because it's about controlling uncertainty and the big sister accounts. This is a red flag, girl. This is a red flag. This is a red flag. And then you're not in the present moment on the date. And you're like, is this a red flag? What he's doing? Is this a red flag? I have to look out for it. And your reticular activation system, which is like kind of your focus point where you focus on, you just continuously focus on, oh, is this a red flag? Is this a red flag? And your brain's like, oh, this might be a red flag, this might be a red flag, and then you never enjoy the date. And then in relationships, or even when you're married, you always look. I have clients that I work with that I helped change that. They always were looking out, oh, what's their partner doing? And it caused them, it caused so much stress. And you don't be yourself. If you look my previous video that I did here on YouTube about the changing from being reactive, which this is all reactive. This is all reactive behavior, and you're just feeding the pattern. In my previous video, from being reactive to being proactive, that's actually where you learn how to be yourself. In my book, I mentioned this, and when I coach my clients, I help them to be themselves in relationships, because a lot of people, when you go to a party, that's, for example, a compulsion, a chasing validation compulsion, right? To impress others, what I used to do back in the day. I always needed to be the best. I always needed to perform for people to love me, for me to be the best, etc. And that performing is a compulsion to try to control the validation of others. And then you're not being yourself. You're being a slave to that pattern. And the more you're being a slave to trying to get relief of like, yes, do I get the relief of them liking me, of me being the best, of the girl liking me, etc. You actually feeding more of the practice of chasing validation, and then your brain gives you more feelings of insecurity, so you can chase more validation. The brain just wants to support you. It's so, isn't it crazy? It makes so much, when I say it, it makes so much sense. And you probably ask, why didn't anybody teach me that? But when I tell you these things, how the brain works, that it's based on an engagement, it makes so much sense that the brain will try to support us in what signals we give the brain, you know? I mean, the body is all about signals. Do you give the signal to the heart, to your liver, to your organs, to your skin? With food, exercise, etc. What signals do you, with muscle building, what signals do you give the muscle? A lot of these things about giving signals. And we have to look what signals we give the brain. And when we give the signals of compulsions, you're going to give signals to the brain where the brain is going to give you a lot of mental health problems in return. Because it's this accumulation of more thoughts, more emotions, and then you live your life like a feather in the wind, being a slave to emotions and thoughts. Does that make sense? So I say, does that make sense, as if you can talk back. Well, please talk back to me in the comments. I feel very lonely right now. No one talks back to me. I'm actually having a seminar soon in LA, so if you want to come, you are able to finally talk back to me. My first in-person seminar, I did a lot of seminars online, but I want to connect with the community because AI is taking over, and I feel like connection is really important. And also, there's a lot of transformation that happens in the moment. Like, there's a lot of energy exchange, and I'm really good at feeling the energy of the room. So I will give a lot of tools to live the more proactive, lighter life. But also, I will do a unique question and answers. Like, we will have a lot of explorations, and it will only be 12 participants. So, because I want to give a lot of attention. I don't want 20 or 30 people. I want everyone to get a lot of attention. So I'm excited. We're also probably going to have, because I want to create a beautiful atmosphere. It's going to be December 13th. So a lot of Christmas time is coming up. So my friend Wendy is going to buy some, she loves baking. Not buy, she's going to bake. She's going to bake some cookies, maybe some bread, fresh bread. We want to see, but I want to make it also a beautiful atmosphere for you guys, because I think the value is of course the most important, but the atmosphere is so important. And these are some lessons maybe that you also understand if you have your own seminars or do things for other people, give value. The atmosphere is very important too. All right, let's go back into it. Contamination compulsion. Oh, contamination compulsion is one of the, I mean, it's almost encapsulating every single compulsion when I tell you. Let's go deep into this, okay? Spiritual contamination compulsion. I used to do this. I've been coaching for 5 years now, long time, maybe almost 6 years, right? Hundreds and thousands of clients, group coaching, etc. And because I'm always caring so much that I want my clients to, I feel very much responsible, because people don't come to me to buy bananas. People come to me with their trauma and to have a better life. So I feel very responsible, and I want to give every time my best. I want to have results for you every time. But back in the day, because I felt this responsibility, I would always meditate every time before a call. I don't want to say every time, but like lots before a call. I think as much as I could. And I did that to get like this open, clean energy, so to say, or clear energy, to be the best I can be. Finding out later, this was a contamination compulsion, because I wanted to clean the energy, so to say, if that makes sense. So don't get me wrong, meditation, use it as a practice, but as a proactive practice. And yeah, use it as needed, but not to clean an energy, because then the meditation will also not be as efficient, because you're having kind of this result outcome, but as a practice that we do proactively. You know? And then of course sometimes as needed. Sometimes we also need it as needed, but then the intention, it's about the intention. Are you doing it to get rid of a certain thing? And it's a challenge, it's a practice. But me even giving you that understanding right now, you will think of it more and be like, okay, more and more you get it. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. More and more territory, take more and more territory. So contamination compulsion, energy, cleaning energy, like a lot of spiritual people say, oh, you have to have this clean energy and then you can live your life. And then it's always this thing where I have to do this to live my life. Mark Freeman, he's amazing. If you guys want to check him out, his YouTube channel, he has an amazing book, You Are Not a Rock. He talks about this. It's always something in between us and living our life, that we think we need to do this thing to live our life, but it's really keeping us from living our life. So the trying to have the perfect energy to live our life is then your brain's always going to be, do you have the perfect energy? You might not have the perfect energy. You might not have the perfect energy to go on this date. You might not have the perfect energy to have this important job interview. And you create less and less self-trust with that. Isn't it interesting? I think it's so, if I tell you, you must be like, this is logical. It makes so much sense. Why didn't anybody tell me this? And it's so connected, right? It makes sense. It's not something where suddenly I say something that's, oh, but that didn't make sense together. No, it makes so much sense that the brain works like this. Oh, the brain learns then, oh, okay, we have to have this important thing, this important kind of energy. Oh, you might not have this energy right now. Then you're freaking out, oh no, I don't have it. And you live your life not being yourself, not being on your path, not being on your purpose. You being just living your life, letting it dictated by emotions and thoughts, all right? So what else we got? The contamination compulsion is so interesting. Contamination compulsion is also emotions. When you say, no, this emotion of anxiety, this is actually how many people create the anxiety disorders, ADHD, BPD, all those things, when they make a feeling wrong or make a thought wrong. They're like, this anxiety is contamination, I'm not supposed to have it. And the more you do that, the more you make the feeling of anxiety wrong, the more excessive it gets. And then because the brain's like, oh, you love doing this engagement with anxiety, you love fixing anxiety, let me give you more anxiety to fix. You love cleaning this contamination, let me give you more things to clean because you love cleaning. Your brain doesn't understand, oh, we want to get rid of this anxiety. Your brain only watches your behavior. Does it make sense? Isn't it interesting? I think it's fucking interesting, and it should be taught in school. All right, so thoughts. Contamination of thoughts. Oh, I don't like these intrusive thoughts. I don't like these intrusive thoughts about penguins. I don't like these intrusive thoughts about all kinds of things. What are your intrusive thoughts, right? People getting hurt, friends getting hurt. What if I'm going to do this? What if I'm going to do that? These kind of intrusive thoughts. But the more you're trying to clean them, the more they come because you're hating on them. So again, you create more of them. So the key is really to be okay that they're there, not care about them, and show your brain a different GPS, which I showed you guys in other videos, which is of course to change to the valued actions, because that's something you can set proactively, and your brain with the emotions and thoughts doesn't have an effect on, because you can open the fridge, your refrigerator, if you're depressed, if you have anxiety, if you have any kinds of thoughts, you can physically open it. And the more you do these physical things, independently from these emotions and thoughts, the more you show the brain that you don't care anymore about it. But the more you do these compulsions, the more you hurt your mental health. And more people should know about this. Contamination, compulsion, body. That would be, for example, your classic OCD. Oh, I'm contaminated, I need to wash. And your brain's like, oh, you're not clean yet. You might be more dirty. Oh, yeah. And the more you try to clean yourself, or the more you're trying to check on if you have a certain disease, or maybe you're contaminated with a certain disease, and you go check with the doctor, and you go over, check, right? Of course, have your regular proactively going to the doctor to the things that support your health. That's different than oh no, I need to check, because that's gonna create more of that. And the people who have that, they will listen to it and be like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So let's go to judging compulsion. That's basically getting a sense of control by judging yourself and others. It's also a sense of creates a sense of superior. I'm messing up the word, guys. You gotta help me. Superiority over others, like putting people in labels or putting people in different groups, like this religion, you are this kind of person, groups of skin color, groups of religion, groups of whatever, their belief system, you know? And that kind of judging, always judging everything and everyone is also a controlling compulsion. Like they're all kind of, a lot of them are connected. So it's a controlling compulsion. You're trying to control, you're trying to get safety and control. Oh, I need to, even with the red flags. That's, for example, the red flags is a judging compulsion. It's also a controlling compulsion. It's, oh, does this person have red flags? Because I need the safety and control to know. It's basically certainty. They don't want to have the uncertainty. But this hurts this hurts so much your relationship with yourself, because you're just hating on yourself, right? And then you're hating on other people. And a lot of people, this is also what Mark Freeman taught me, a lot of people hate on themselves to be more successful. So they think they can only be more successful when they make themselves guilty or punish themselves or hate on themselves. But that creates this toxic, unhealthy cycle. And Mark Freeman taught me you can just do it based on values, just proactively based on values. So where are we, guys? Oh yeah, sense of control. Control and safety, like I said. You're trying to get control and safety by judging yourself, judging others. Box thinking. You guys probably all know people who are like box thinking, judging, because they have this religion or that, or the conspiracy theories online and it comes a lot from like not having the confidence to live your own life, so they blame other people. Oh, this group of people, they are the masters of the world, and because of them, I'm not able to do this and that. You know, it's a lot of victim thinking. It's a lot of victim thinking, victim mindset thinking, and that's not to say that there's not people in the world who, of course, want power and control, but most people who are on like X and Twitter and like this group of people and this group of people, they have a lot of victim mindset and they don't trust themselves to live their life, and then it gives them the relief to like blame and judge. These are all compulsions: blaming, judging. Isn't it? I think it's interesting. If you're still here, this is like a deep dive on compulsions. If you're still here, you find this interesting, let me know, because I love these deep dive things. because I can talk freely. All right, me against other groups, us versus them. You have to understand that maybe some of these, like, you feel like, oh, they don't apply to me, but we all do kind of like some of these, like judging this, and it's gonna hurt your mental health. Your life will be so much better when you cut out these compulsions, all right? And you cut off these compulsions moment by moment, but not by, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a big one here now. You can have compulsions about compulsions. You can have the compulsion to cut, your contamination, it's a big thing also in OCD area. Your contamination compulsion can be the compulsion to clean compulsions, to always look for compulsions. But then the brain's like, oh yeah, we need to look for more compulsions. But that's not the best way to go at it. The best way to go at it, and this is something Mark Freeman also talks about always, is the best way to go about it is actually to focus on the valued actions. Not to focus on cleaning something or fixing something, but to focus in a positive direction, to adding positive things. Mark Freeman always says, adding positive things instead of trying to fix. Instead of fixing, adding. Instead of fixing, adding. Remember that. And instead of fixing, adding. Adding. Isn't it cool? I feel like it's fucking cool. You cannot tell me this is not cool. Like, to find out about yourself like this. Like, to find out how you're doing these compulsions and like, wow, it's hurting me that way, but I can change it. And there's these cool things to change because it's with your focus, right? Instead of fixing, which creates the brain to be like more fixing, you just focus on the positive, which is like the valued actions, mindfully. And then over time, the brain's algorithm changes. The algo changes. Sorry, brain, I wrote on your nose. All right, so other groups was then fixing compulsion. Encompasses so many things, right? Self-help addiction, fixing yourself. I need more. I need to heal my healing compulsion. I need to heal my trauma before I can live my life. And when clients come to me, they're so surprised. I'm like, no. That's compulsion. You're not gonna do that. And you're gonna actually heal your trauma more if you make it inactive. You probably see my trauma videos on my YouTube. If you knew, where have you been? Not seeing my videos on trauma, on why we want to make trauma inactive and not trying to heal trauma, which actually heals trauma more, because the intelligence of your body, if you leave it alone, gonna take care of it. But we never leave trauma alone. We just, oh no, I need to fix it because it's such challenging emotions, right? But if you break down trauma, it's not this mysterious label that's like somewhere hiding in your body, in the subconscious. That's not what I believe. It's the brain with an algorithm brings it up in certain triggers, in certain moments, and then you can work with it in the present moment. Because trauma is only three things: emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations. And if you break it down like this, it gets so much easier than when a therapist comes to you. Yes, trauma is this mysterious thing in the sky that it's somewhere in your body, and it drives you crazy because you're like, what the fuck? Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? I only have a conceptual label with it. But if you're like, oh, it's emotions, more challenging given, but emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations, you can do something with it. Or not do something with it. Undo it. You know? So, interesting things we're going through today. Let me know if you like the long, I like the long form because like, I like to really, that's why I love YouTube. And I am the person who learns on YouTube. It's giving you more insight into the material and you get it more. So because it's longer form. We're fixing compulsion, self-help addiction, right? Fixing yourself, fixing others, fixing emotions, fixing thoughts, fixing situations to get control and safety. Think, what emotion came up? Oh, I want to fix this feeling of abandonment. I want to fix this. What are you doing? Oh, I'm venting is a compulsion. If you didn't know, venting is constantly venting, getting reassurance, venting with others to get rid of a feeling. Whatever you do to get rid of a feeling, get rid of thoughts, etc. Fixing, whatever fixing. And then the brain's like, oh, you love fixing this? Let me give you more things to fix. Let me give you more anxiety to fix, more rumination to fix, more dirty things to fix, whatever it is, you know? And then the last one I have written here on the whiteboard is controlling compulsions, right? Controlling happens a lot in relationships, life situations, trying to control emotions like fear, anxiety, trying to get relief from something. So controlling compulsions in relationships, maybe lying, maybe telling certain stories to get validation, or doing things to not be abandoned by the partner, then the feeling of abandonment. But really, the more you then do the behaviors around the fear of abandonment, the more fear of abandonment you create. And really, at the end, you destroy the relationship, because all those behaviors are very toxic. The jealousy behaviors, right? Trying to control the jealousy, and then you stalking your partner, or you put like those AirPod things in their car to check where they are. All those things are very much controlling compulsions, all right? So then what I have here is controlling, of course, doing compulsions with other people. So you can do compulsions with yourself, and you can do compulsions with other people. You can do compulsions with yourself inside of your head and outside of your head with behavior when you try to control feelings, and you can use other people to do compulsions. As mentioned before, when you're trying to get reassurance from other people, when you vent with other people, when you use other people as your unpaid therapist, all those things are gonna hurt your mental health. So now we're gonna go over to the brain. This algorithm of the brain, right, was kind of like created when you were very young. So you might have trauma in the past, and then because as a kid you weren't able to control that trauma, you did certain behaviors, you created certain compulsions that back in the day gave you safety. They protected you. You needed them because you couldn't really protect yourself. You weren't even able to either process the emotion or the life situations that you were in with your parents, your surrounding, your school. I got bullied for 7 years, for example. And then what happened was an algorithm was created where emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations automatically are coming up in your body and your head. So thoughts come into your head, emotions and bodily sensations come kind of in your body, head, whatever. It's not really important like to go in details, but that is gonna be attacking you. Now, over time, because you didn't like them, they're uncomfortable, you try to fix them. You just didn't know fixing is the compulsion. And then you made the algorithm stronger over years, stronger, and it created this whole way of living where you create self-sabotage, you create belief systems, you create stories, you create boxes, you create labels, you create confirmation bias, and all of those things create you like these glasses for your reality, on top of your reality, right? So you don't actually see reality. So that's actually what's also blocking you from success, because you are not seeing the opportunities, and you're not going for the opportunities because you're believing the rumination, you're believing the thoughts and emotions. And here's one more thing I want to give you guys that's really important. You are identifying with these thoughts and emotions, which means, think of it like this. Thoughts and emotions come so close, right? You think you are them. You like, oh, I'm the person, I'm the shy person, I'm the person, I'm the anxious person, I'm the person, I'm the insecure person. I'm the person, insecure thoughts, not good enough, right? Because you don't do cognitive diffusion. Cognitive diffusion is the separation, is the differentiation between you and your brain, between you and the thoughts and emotions. And that's very important to start practicing it. That's why in my book, the Emotional Fitness book, I have this method. It's called the no brain method. We're like, no brain, we're walking right now. No brain, we're on the chest press right now. The moment you say no brain, you're showing yourself, oh, you're not those patterns. And then you're shifting your focus. I'm walking right now. I'm doing chest press right now, which is shifting the algorithm over time, right? But then again, really deep, don't do the no brain method to get rid of thoughts and emotions. It's to shift your focus. But you will learn more about this. If you get my book, I put the book in the description. It's very helpful. I put a lot of value in it. I just thought value, value, value. And it's a quick read. It's around 100 pages. You can get it right away on your phone. It's a digital version. Plus there's animations in it. I made like 70% of the animations I like created myself. I didn't draw them myself. I did them with Canva. Two, because I knew how to do those animations to better communicate for you these kind of complex things, all right? So where we, in identifying. So if you identify with the thoughts and emotions, they come so close, so you see life through them, you're like, oh, that's me. But the moment you realize, oh, you know, how do you know that's not you? How do you know the speaker is not you? The speaker is not you because you can see it. Outside of, you can see it, you can observe it. Now, thoughts and emotions, they come so close that you think like, oh, that's me. But you can really observe them. And with meditation and mindfulness, you can practice it more. And then you're less likely to be affected by them, and you can see, oh, I want to do this compulsion, I want to do this behaviors around it. Okay, let me not do it, change my algorithm, and go in the direction of valued actions. So the cognitive diffusion is really important to stop identifying with thoughts and emotions, because most people are identifying with their thoughts and emotions and then they don't live their authentic life. They don't live their authentic life. They live a life based on patterns that they identified with. That's why this practice that I'm teaching you guys is so beautiful, because you learn how to change from being reactive. All of this is reactive. All of this is reactive behavior, and you reactively keep refeeding the trauma patterns from the past. We changed that to living our life proactively based on your excitements, your valued actions, excitement like the formula from Bashar, follow your excitement with no insistence on the outcome, and then we add valued actions that support ourselves and others. And the more we go in that direction mindfully, the less resistance, the more resistance goes out of your body, because you don't spend anymore all those extra work inside of your head on the rumination. So over time, this is going to be freed. Resistance is going to be less. And you will raise your intuition. You will raise your clarity about life. You will drop those patterns and you will feel more worthy and confident to move forward and live your dreams. This is what's cool, and this is, I'm going in very much detail and transformational in my workshop in LA. So if you want to come by, the information is also in the description. If you enjoyed this longer form, let me know. I enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon. Let me know what YouTube videos you want to see next. Peace.